The Agent David O. Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Excited to be here today with you. And today's topic is awesome. It's what I do if I were a new agent starting today. If I lost everything, guys, if I lost everything and had to start over as a brand new agent, what would I do? What would I do? And I was thinking about this question, and I basically came up with two scenarios. Let's say I lost everything. I lost all my money, all my properties, all my book of business, all that stuff. Um, but I still have but let's say I also lost my skills. Let's say I lost all of my head knowledge, right? Where would I start then? Like, I don't even know what to do, which I feel like a lot of new agents are in that boat, and they join a brokerage and they're hoping that brokerage is going to educate them on what actually to do. And a lot of times they don't invest enough time in their agents to actually make sure that they're successful. Well, I solved a big problem because I released a book called Investor Friendly Agent that has all of the skills and all of the head knowledge that you need to do to start building one of the biggest business opportunities I see in the world today, and that's helping people as their agent invest in real estate. Guys, this is one of the biggest needs that we have in the world, is somebody that can help you invest in real estate. There's lots of people with money. It's invested in Wall Street, it's invested with financial advisors, it's invested in stocks and bonds and mutual funds. And what are all those things have in common? They don't have access to actually help people own real estate, which is responsible for creating more millionaires than 90% of any other thing out, any other investment vehicle out there in the world. So becoming an investor friendly agent is the number one thing that I would suggest doing. So read the book, get a copy of the book. You can find it on Amazon if you want the hard copy. If you want the digital copy, I've got a gift for you at the end. I'll tell you where to find it. We'll gift it to you if you can listen to the whole episode. But if I was starting over today, I didn't have any of my skills, I didn't have the mindset, I would first read this book, Investor Friendly Agent. From there, what would I do? Okay. So as an agent, we have our license, which is basically the secret weapon that's going to allow us to take advantage of investing like nobody else can. Because we have, when we get our license, we have a tool in our tool belt that a lot of investors out there just don't have and don't know how to utilize to make more money. And so from that position, what I would want to do is start finding the deals, because if I can find the investment deals, I can do one or two things. I can either buy it for myself and own investment property. There's definitely ways that with no money, I can still buy that property and get creative, either from getting a hard money loan or a private money loan, or using seller financing, or doing the Burr method that I've talked about on this podcast before. So there's a lot of different ways that I can still buy an investment property, even though I'm not using any of my own cash, or maybe I don't have enough cash to actually put a down payment down or make an offer, right? So don't let that hold you up. But the number one thing I'm doing is trying to find deals. Okay. So once I find the deal, I can either invest in that deal for myself, or guess what? Maybe it's not a deal that I want to invest in myself. What can I do because I have my license? Well, I can sell that. I can broker that investment deal to somebody else, and I can earn a commission doing so. And so when I'm meeting with these sellers, I present all the options to them. So I say, hey, I love this property. I'd like to buy it for myself. This is what that looks like. Okay, that doesn't work. Well, I can help you sell this property. I can sell it to somebody else off market, an investor like myself. They may be willing to pay more. Let me try to market it for more if you're wanting more for your property. Or I can just traditionally list it on the MLS, get the best exposure for your property to bring in the highest and best offer that the marketplace can bring for your property. So right there, I'm very transparent when I'm going to meet with a seller, that I have all of the options available for them for selling their property. It's just about choosing which one best fits what they're looking to do. Sometimes they're really motivated and just want to be done with it. I can buy it. Sometimes they want a certain price that they've got to hit that I can't get to for an investment for myself, right? So then I can sell it to another investor, make a commission doing so. Or sometimes they're like, hey, I just want the highest and best price that I can get for this property. I don't care if we have to put a sign in the yard and have a bunch of buyers through here and hold open houses and market it and take contingencies. I just want the highest possible price. Well, I can list it on the MLS for them. So that's what I'd be doing. And I'd be looking for sellers that have a house that they want to sell or need to sell. And traditionally, there's just a funnel that is going to build your business. And the funnel is really simple, guys. And this is really something that applies to literally any business on the planet. They have this sales funnel. Okay. And I'm going to show you the steps of the funnel. And up top, the very first thing on your sales funnel is generating leads. Okay. So if you imagine a sales funnel, it's very wide at the top and then it funnels down into a very small area, right? So in the top of my funnel, I am generating leads. So however you want to do that. If I don't have any money, I'm going out and I'm talking to people. I'm using my phone and I'm calling people. I'm texting people. I'm seeing, hey, who has a property, who knows somebody that has a property that they might be willing to sell. So I'm generating leads. Once I find somebody, a lead, that will turn into a prospect. If they are open to the idea of talking to me about selling their property, now they become a prospect. So the next step in my funnel is following up with the prospects. So I generated the leads up here. Now I'm following up with those prospects that showed some interest in what I'm helping them do, which would be sell their property. And then what's the next step in my funnel? The next step in my funnel is setting an appointment. Okay. So I'm setting appointments. I'm generating leads. I'm following up with leads. I'm setting appointments. Those appointments are me going to their property and running a comparative market analysis and showing them what their house is worth and showing them the different options for selling their house. What would happen after the appointment is I am negotiating a contract. Okay. I'm either negotiating a sales contract to where I can buy their property, or I'm negotiating a listing contract where they're going to hire me to help sell their property either on the MLS or broker it to another investor. Okay. So I'm negotiating contracts. And then finally, after I've negotiated a contract, I am getting through due diligence and going to closing. And at closing is when I'm going to make my commission, where I'm going to own a rental property and start, being able to rent it out and collect a monthly cash flow from that property, or I'm going to start rehabbing it to sell and make a fix and flip profit, 3 to 6 months down the road when I go to sell that property. So that's the funnel. The number one thing I'm doing is after I've read the book, I'm generating as many leads as I can so I can filter down to the prospects that I'm going to follow up with until I can set an appointment. And after I set an appointment, I'm going to negotiate a contract. I'm going to make an offer. Right? I'm going to make an offer either on their house or I'm going to make an offer to list their property for them. And so that's what I'm constantly doing. I have to be spending time in these areas of generating leads, following up with leads, negotiating contracts, and closing the deals. Like that's what makes us money as agents and investors. And all this other stuff, like, reading books and listening to podcasts is great, but it doesn't make money. So I've wrote the one book that you can get if you go to freeagentbook.com. That's the only book you're going to need. And then you need to start generating leads, following up with leads, setting appointments, making offers, negotiating contracts. So go to freeagentbook.com. We'll give you the book for free, everything you need to know. And then let's start taking massive action. Uh, Bless you this week. And I wish you the very best as you're starting this journey. If there's anything I can do for you, I'm happy to jump on a call, discuss strategy, help you set up for success in your future. Take care.